Hey foodies, and welcome back to Cooking with Kiana, and boy do I have a treat for you guys today. So today we are making a seafood boil, and we are going to be cooking this in a bag in a garlic butter sauce. This method is super convenient and easy, and it packs a ton of flavor. So let's introduce these ingredients and get started. So for this recipe, I'm going to be using 1 live lobster, 5 crab clusters, a pound of scallops, a pound of shrimp, and I'm going to leave those shells on, and that is optional. A mixture of different seafoods, which basically consists of clams, mussels, shrimps, and squid. Smoked sausage or your favorite sausage. 5 red potatoes. 3 corns, and you just want to break those in half just to make sure they are serving size. 1 lemon. 7 garlic cloves. Fresh ginger and 4 sprigs of thyme. Cayenne pepper. Chili powder, paprika, Cajun seasoning, creole seasoning, crushed red pepper, onion powder, ground sage, sweet chili sauce, and of course, we can't forget the oven bags. So let's start cooking. First thing I'm going to do is boil my lobster, and I'm only going to boil this for a minute. And you do not want to cook this fully because we are going to be cooking this in the oven later. If you don't feel comfortable using a live lobster, you can always use a frozen one and skip this step. After it has been a minute, you want to make sure you remove it from that boiling water so we can prepare these potatoes. And I'm just going to cut these in half twice, making 4 pieces for each potato. Once I'm done chopping that up, we are just going to set that aside and put that in a bowl so we can boil some water. After that water has came to a boil, I'm going to add in the corn and the potatoes. By the way, don't forget to check the description box below. I will be posting the full recipe there. So now I'm going to cover this with foil, and I'm going to let that boil for about 13 minutes. How I know it's done is when I stick a fork in it and my fork slides right through. So at this point, you want to drain the water and remove it from the fire. So now it's time to prepare my smoked sausage, and all I'm really doing is just slicing this up. Now, if you want, you can brown this, but again, that is optional because we will be cooking this in the oven. So now it's time to prepare everything for my butter sauce. And I'm going to be using about a 2-inch piece of ginger. Obviously, you want to make sure you remove that skin, and we are just going to grate that. And if you can't find fresh ginger, you can use a tablespoon of ginger paste. So now I'm going to chop up 7 cloves of garlic, and you just want to make sure you chop that finely. And once I'm done chopping that up, I'm just going to set that aside as well. All right, so now I'm just going to apply some pressure and roll this lemon, and this is just going to help me release the juices better. Then we're just going to cut that in half, set that aside because we're going to be using that for the butter sauce. All right, so now I'm going to add 16 ounces of butter to my skillet, and we're just going to let that cook on low. Once that has melted, we are going to add in the garlic and the ginger, and then I'm just going to stir everything together. Now I'm going to add in 1 squeezed lemon, 4 sprigs of thyme. You know that's going to kick up that flavor a notch. 1/4 cup of sweet chili sauce. 1 teaspoon of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of paprika, and 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and 1 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. And then we are going to stir that in. So at this point, I tasted it and I was like, it definitely needs a little more flavor. So I decided to add 2 teaspoons of sugar just to balance that out, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, and 1 teaspoon of ground sage. And you could definitely smell all those different aromas. Not to mention the sauce was just wonderful. All right, so now that we are done with the sauce, you want to get you a baking sheet or pan, and we are just going to add that oven bag to it, spread that out, and I'm going to start adding the seafood. I'm going to start off by adding my lobster. Then I'm going to add some corn, potatoes, crab legs, the shrimp and scallops. Then I'm going to go in and I'm going to add the sausage. And it really doesn't matter what order you put the seafood in there. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's all going in the bag. So at this point, I'm going to add in that seafood mix. And if you are not a fan of squid, you do not have to add this. Remember, this is your seafood boil. You can add any seafood that you like. So now I'm just going to add the remainder of the potato, the corn, the sausage, and the shrimp and the scallops. And now I'm going to add in those crab legs, and then it is time to season up the seafood. I'm just going to add 1 teaspoon of Cajun seasoning, 1 teaspoon of creole seasoning, and 2 teaspoons of parsley. Remember, we do not have to add too much seasoning because that butter sauce is well seasoned. So now it's time for the good part, to add the butter sauce. So I'm just gonna drizzle this butter sauce, making sure it coats every single piece of seafood. You wanna make sure you scrape the bottom of that pan as well. All of that flavor is in the bottom. All right, so now we're gonna tie our bag up. Make sure you shake it. And we're just gonna pop that in the oven on 350 for about 40 minutes. So it has been about 40 minutes and my seafood boil is done. I'm just gonna open this up so you guys can see what it is looking like. Everything is perfectly cooked and that meat is just so juicy and tender. Not to mention the corn is sweet and it just has so much flavor on it from the butter sauce and that seasoning. And that butter sauce has just the right amount of spice in it just to give it the perfect kick. If you guys are looking for a simple seafood boil that tastes just as good as the ones that take a long time to make, definitely try this recipe. Also, let me know in the comment section below how you guys make your seafood boils, because I know there's tons of different ways to make them. If you like this recipe, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, as well as subscribing to my channel and hitting that notification bell. I will be posting new recipes every week. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.